Hello there, and welcome to the Whispering Scholar, where curiosity cozies up and knowledge lulls you toward peaceful dreams. Tonight, we embark on a serene voyage into the most elusive of forces, time itself. That invisible river that guides our every breath, our each heartbeat, slipping through our fingers like fine sand. But before we unravel the ticking tapestry of time, I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening from tonight? And what time is it for you right now? Leave a comment if you'd like to share. Fitting, isn't it? A whisper about time, and here we are scattered across time zones, each arriving at this moment in our own unique slice of the clock. If you find this voyage soothing, intriguing, or just a quiet harbor after a long day, I'd be ever so grateful if you gently tap like or subscribe. It helps this little corner of calm reach others who might need a peaceful pause too. Now let's begin. Slow your thoughts, let each word settle, and let us glide together through seconds, centuries, and the spaces between. In the penultimate whisper of our journey, let us gently unravel the question that lingers in the stillness. Does time exist at all? Or is it merely an artful construct of our minds, a convenient thread we use to stitch together our experiences? Philosophers from Immanuel Kant to contemporary thinkers have long suggested that time and space are not external realities, but forms of our intuition, innate frameworks our consciousness uses to organize the world. Without a mind to perceive, might the universe be timeless? A boundless ocean of being without any clock to mark its currents? When the first sundials cast slim shadows across stone, humanity learned a precious secret: time can be measured. The ancient Egyptians carved obelisks to track the sun's path, and by aligning stones at Stonehenge, they whispered to the heavens, seeking order in the cosmos. Water clocks followed clever vessels, where water dripped at a steady rate, marking out hours with a simple liquid grace. In China's Han Dynasty, elaborate incense clocks burned fragrant trails, each scent marking a passing moment. And in Mesoamerica, the Mayan calendar wove days into vast cycles, binding human lives to the eternal dance of planets and stars. If you're enjoying this unhurried trek through history, you might softly press subscribe. It's how we continue these quiet journeys together. And if you're feeling especially dreamy tonight, leave a comment describing your favorite memory of watching time pass, perhaps a sunset that lingered too long, or a lullaby that seemed to hold the night at bay. As the mechanical clocks of medieval Europe began to tick in quiet tower chambers, our ancestors gained a firmer grip on hours and minutes. Yet even then, time felt alive, responding to seasons, foreshadowing harvests, and guiding prayers at cathedral bells. And so, dear listener, our path winds on toward a world where time would be bound not to earth, but stretched across the very fabric of space itself. In the penultimate whisper of our journey, let us gently unravel the question that lingers in the stillness: does time exist at all? Or is it merely an artful construct of our minds, a convenient thread we use to stitch together our experiences? Philosophers from Immanuel Kant to contemporary thinkers have long suggested that time and space are not external realities, but forms of our intuition, innate frameworks our consciousness uses to organize the world. Without a mind to perceive, might the universe be timeless? A boundless ocean of being without any clock to mark its currents? Imagine a world without before or after, where every moment simply is, an endless tapestry of events interconnected by relationship rather than sequence. In such a timeless realm, What we call change would emerge from patterns of correlation. Event A correlates with event B, event C with event D, event D, and through this web of relations, our consciousness discerns a semblance of flow. It's like reading a book printed all at once on a single scroll. We trace letters into words, words into sentences, creating a story through our act of reading, even though every word already exists on the scroll. And yet, even if time is emergent, it remains profoundly real in its effects. Our calendars mark seasons and celebrations. Our bodies pulse with circadian rhythms. Our memories and plans hinge on a reliable then and next. Without the emergent arrow of time, we could not predict the sunrise, plan a journey, or recall the warm touch of a loved one's hand. Whether time is a fundamental ingredient of reality or a beautiful illusion, its presence shapes our lives. If you're feeling the soft comfort of these reflections, a quiet tap on the subscribe button helps guide more whispered voyages into these mysteries. And as always, share your thoughts in the comments. How does the idea of a timeless universe resonate with you? Now, let us turn our gaze to the grand debate between presentism and eternalism, a divergence of visions on the nature of reality itself. Presentism holds that only the present moment is real. The past has dissolved into memory. The future remains a haze of possibility. In this view, you stand on a narrow shore, watching waves lap at your feet. The wave that just receded is gone, and the next one lies unseen beneath the surface. Reality is the now ever-renewing ephemeral. By contrast, eternalism paints a broader canvas. All events past, present, and future exist together within a four-dimensional block. Imagine a mountain range captured in a photograph series. Each snapshot shows a different light and shadow, but the mountain's full form exists in three dimensions. Similarly, the universe's four-dimensional block holds every moment, every life, all at once. You experience reality slice by slice, but the block itself enfolds all slices in its timeless embrace. To envision eternalism, picture a garden of flowering paths. Each path is a timeline, and you walk one path from bud to bloom to seed. But the garden itself contains all paths in full bloom and bud simultaneously. Your felt experience is the path you tread, but the garden's wholeness transcends any single walk. This eternalist view finds elegant support in Einstein's relativity. Special relativity tells us that simultaneity is relative. Two observers in motion no longer agree on which events share the same now. If time were a universal present, this discrepancy would be impossible. Instead, space-time's geometry allows different slices of now for different observers, implying that all slices coexist in the block. Yet eternalism raises questions of its own. If every future moment already exists, what becomes of free will? Are our choices mere facets of an unchanging tapestry? Compatibilist philosophers offer one reconciliation: free will and eternalism can coexist because our choices themselves are events in the block, determined by our character, our reasons, and our desires. In each moment, you face a choice, you freely choose, and that choice is inscribed into the block's fabric. You are both the author and the character in your story. Others propose that eternalism may be an approximation, valid at macroscopic scales, but giving way to a richer, more dynamic picture at quantum gravity's frontier. Perhaps at the Planck scale, where distances shrink to 10 meters, space-time itself becomes frothy, granular, and time re-emerges as a more fundamental element. Theories like loop quantum gravity envision space as woven from tiny loops, and time as arising from transitions between these quantum states. String theory hints at hidden dimensions where time's role might shift or even multiply. In these realms, the block may fracture, and the flow of now may regain a deeper, irreducible status. If these ideas stir your curiosity, please let me know with a like and whisper in the comments which picture appeals to you: the crystalline block, the fleeting present, or the deep quantum foams where time is reborn. But before we drift further into quantum speculations, let us revisit the soothing imagery of everyday time, those small, shimmering moments that anchor us. Think of a gentle breeze at dawn, carrying the scent of dew. The moment is singular, yet part of a larger flow: the turning of the earth, the cycle of seasons, the eons carved in stone. Your breath, too, is a timekeeper. Inhale, pause, exhale. These simple rhythms remind us that time, however abstract, is woven into the very core of our bodies. And what of our memories? Like fireflies in the dark, they glow for a moment and fade. Each recollection carries the warmth of lived experience, yet points irrevocably backward. Neuroscientists have discovered time cells in the hippocampus neurons that fire sequentially to mark intervals within events, stitching together the flow of experience into a coherent tapestry. Damage to these circuits can blur temporal perception, leaving moments lost in an indistinct wash. Our sense of time is not merely a passive record, it is actively constructed by our brains. Contrast that with anticipation, the mind's gaze toward the horizon of possibilities. Planning a trip, awaiting a reunion, or simply looking forward to the next sunrise, all these weave threads of future into our present awareness. Psychologists distinguish between prospective timing estimates we make in real time and retrospective timing judgments formed from memory. When you focus intently, time drags. When you look back, attention and memory dance together to shape your felt sense of time. If these reflections on memory and expectation resonate, a soft tap on the subscribe button helps me continue weaving these whispered journeys. And share in the comments a moment when time shimmered for you, when minutes felt like hours, or seconds blurred into eternity. Now, let us return to our conceptual tapestry and thread in one more dimension the relational view of time. Some contemporary philosophers and physicists propose that time is nothing but relations among physical processes. You read the ticking of a clock by watching its gears. You sense the hour by the sun's position. You age not by counting years, but by counting heartbeats. In this relational picture, time has no independent existence. It is a bookkeeping device that tracks how one thing changes with respect to another. Consider two hands on a clock. One marks hours, the other seconds. Without their relation, neither tells time. Similarly, the universe's cosmic clock might be the redshift of distant galaxies, how light stretches as space expands, offering a relational measure of cosmic age. In a truly relational world, there is no external time, only change, and our descriptions of change. This view resonates with certain formulations of quantum gravity, where physical states evolve relative to one another. The Wheeler-DeWitt equation, for instance, presents the universe's wave function in a timeless form, yet relational variables within it allow for an emergent sense of change. It's as if the universe's story is written not on a timeline, but on a web of connections. And as observers, we traverse that web, creating the illusion of flow. Does this relational tapestry diminish time's reality, or does it enrich it, revealing time as interwoven with all things. If this idea intrigues you, let me know with a like. Share your thoughts below. How do you feel when time seems to slip away in moments of deep connection? As we draw this expanded chapter to a close, let us pause in gratitude for the many facets of time we have explored tonight. The timeless continuum of the block universe, where every moment coexists. The fleeting present, the only reality in presentism. The emergent arrow of entropy, carrying us from order to disorder. The quantum whispers of timeless wave functions. The biological pulse of circadian and neural timekeepers. The relational tapestry of change, woven from events and correlations. Each perspective is a gem, and together they form a kaleidoscope of understanding. Your own experience remains the bright center of this cosmos of ideas. If this expanded journey brought calm and wonder, please consider tapping subscribe. Your support keeps these whispered explorations alive. And in the comments, share the facet of time that calls to your heart most strongly. Your voice completes this tapestry, turning whispers into shared resonance. When you're ready, let us continue onward into the final act, where time travel's paradoxes await, and our whispered odyssey will conclude with the ultimate question. What is the true nature of time? In the gentle hush of the cosmos, a question stirs. Why does time seem to flow in one direction? Why does your memory drift toward the past, but never toward the future? Why do rivers always run downhill, smiles bloom then fade, and candles burn down rather than build up? These mysteries converge in a concept both profound and subtle, the arrow of time. Consider a child's block tower meticulously stacked on a table. If you set it gently upright, it stands proud. If you nudge it, it falls apart. The broken blocks never spontaneously reassemble into a tower, at least, not in our everyday world. This irreversibility is a hallmark of entropy, a measure of disorder's quiet crescendo. Entropy whispers that systems evolve from order to disorder, that eggs scramble but never unscramble, that heat flows from hot to cold, and that time's arrow points inexorably toward increasing entropy. The foundation of this idea lies in the second law of thermodynamics. Let's breathe in that phrase, second law, and let it settle softly in your mind. It tells us that in an isolated system, one that shares neither energy nor matter with its surroundings, entropy never decreases. It may stay the same in ideal, reversible processes, but in the real, ever slightly imperfect world, it gently increases. Every tick of a clock, every breath you take, every whisper adds a tiny drop to the ocean of entropy in the universe. As you listen, imagine a deck of cards. In a brand new deck, the cards lie in perfect order, ace through king, in each suit. Shuffle them softly and the deck grows more mixed, more disordered. Rearranging those cards back into their pristine sequence by chance would take eons. This unidirectional drift from order to chaos is the dance of entropy, the silent music to which all processes pirouette. So why, you might wonder, does this thermodynamic arrow align with our perception of time's flow? Why do we recall the past but not the future? The psychologist Henry Bergson suggested that consciousness itself flows like a current, weaving together memories into the tapestry of the past. Yet physics offers a deeper rhyme. The past was a state of lower entropy, richer in structure. The future lies ahead, more disordered and diffuse. Our memories embed snapshots of that lower entropy past, crystallized in neural patterns, while the future remains a fog of possibilities. Its entropy yet to be born. This entropic growth began at the very dawn of time. Rewind the universe to its earliest moments, just after the Big Bang, and entropy was astonishingly low. Matter energy, space, and time were all compressed into a state of near-perfect uniformity. Gravity, oddly enough, found itself in an ordered configuration, one that would later give rise to galaxies, stars, and planets. This low entropy start is one of the greatest puzzles in cosmology. Why did the universe begin in such a special state? The question lingers like a soft echo, inviting us deeper into the quiet night of understanding. As stars ignited and galaxies spun into being, entropy climbed ever higher. Nuclear furnaces at stellar cores fused hydrogen into helium, releasing heat that radiated into space, a cascade of entropy outward from bright stellar hearts. Planets formed, cooled, and cracked. Life emerged, metabolized food and exhaled heat. Each microsecond of existence added to the universe's growing ledger of disorder. Yet, within this grand march of entropy, islands of order blossom. Your body maintains a fractal complexity of cells, molecules, and biochemical pathways. A butterfly's wing shimmers with precise coloring. A snowflake unfolds in intricate symmetry. How does this local negentropic dance arise amid the universal clamoring for disorder? The answer lies in the broader tapestry. Systems can decrease their local entropy by exporting disorder to their surroundings. A refrigerator cools its interior, decreasing entropy inside by expelling heat to the kitchen, increasing entropy around it. Life, in all its complexity, thrives by importing low-entropy nutrients and exporting high-entropy waste. And so the arrow of time reveals itself in countless subtleties, in the crackle of a match, the cool draft of night air, the slow unfurling of a fern's frond. The very act of whispering now carries entropy forward, as vocal cords vibrate, as soft breath stirs the silent air, and as sound waves dissipate into stillness. If these reflections on entropy and the arrow of time bring you gentle wonder, a small tap on the subscribe button will keep these whispered explorations flowing. And share below a moment when you felt time's arrow most keenly, perhaps in the hush after a storm, or the soft last notes of a lullaby. Beyond the domain of thermodynamics lies another arrow, the causal arrow. Cause precedes effect. We light a candle, and only then does the flame flicker. Gravity pulls an apple down before it thuds on the earth. Our minds construct narratives in which actions lead to outcomes and not the reverse. This causal structure underpins our understanding of physics and memory alike. Yet, like entropy, causality is deeply intertwined with the cosmos's initial conditions. The Big Bang's low entropy start set the stage for a universe where causes ripple forward into effects, not backward into miracles. Picture ripples on a pond. Drop a pebble, and circles spread outward. The water's molecules vibrate, transferring energy from the center to the shore. Reverse the video, and you'd see ripples converging perfectly to reunite the pebble with its original form, yet such a reversal never occurs naturally. The ripples, like entropy, flow outward, carrying the arrow of time in their circular embrace. And then there's the psychological arrow, your subjective sense that time slips onward. It's woven from threads of memory and anticipation. You recall breakfast, but not tomorrow's meal. You anticipate an upcoming evening stroll, but don't recall the one you'll take a week from now. Neuroscience suggests that memory traces degrade as entropy increases in neural networks, while anticipation draws upon internal models forecasting higher entropy futures. Your mind becomes both historian and fortune teller, grounded in the past yet reaching toward the unknown. As the arrow of time guides us, other mysteries glimmer at its edges. Consider the Poincare recurrence theorem. In a perfectly isolated, finite system, states will eventually recur, revisiting past configuration. Yet our universe, immense and ever-expanding, eludes such neat recurrence. Its inexorable increase in entropy outruns any tidy return, and its horizon stretches ever farther, carrying time's arrow into an open future. And what of quantum mechanics, where probabilities dance and outcomes crystallize upon observation? Here, too, an arrow emerges. Wave functions evolve reversibly, yet the act of measurement appears irreversible, a collapse into a definite outcome. Interpretations vary. Some propose that collapse is an illusion, that all outcomes coexist in branching worlds, each with its own arrow. Others suggest deeper connections between decoherence, entropy, and the emergence of classical reality. In the gentle stillness of speculation, these ideas shimmer like distant stars, inviting us into the quantum night. If you're finding calm in these soft ponderings, please let me know with a like. And if questions drift through your mind about cosmic entropy, causal chains, or quantum time, whisper them in the comment. Your curiosity is the gentle breeze that carries our journey onward, ready to drift toward the next horizon. Beneath the cosmic tapestry of arrows lies yet another mystery, the puzzle of time's ultimate nature, where space and time entwine in quantum gravity's elusive embrace. As we prepare to explore quantum time and the timeless landscapes of fundamental physics, let's let this moment rest in your mind's quiet corner. The candle of thought glows softly. The breeze of wonder stirs. When you feel ready, we will continue our journey into the stillness beyond time, where emergence and essence meet in a lullaby of possibility. In the hush of midnight's embrace, let your mind drift toward the quantum realm, where time's familiar heartbeat seems to soften, almost disappear. Here, particles flit like fireflies, their existence described by swirling probabilities rather than definite paths. The elegant Schrödinger equation governs their dance, yet time appears merely as a parameter, an external baton waved by an unseen conductor. What, then, is time when the conductor vanishes into the same mist that envelops the dancers? Physicists have long sought a theory of quantum gravity, a framework where general relativity's curved space-time and quantum mechanics' probabilistic tapestry weave together seamlessly. But in attempting this grand unification, they have stumbled upon what's been called the problem of time. In the celebrated Wheeler-DeWitt equation, the universe's wave function seems timeless. There is no explicit time parameter, no ticking clock. Instead, all possible configurations of space and matter exist in a static vastness, and time, if it emerges at all, must arise from within. Imagine a cosmic symphony where every note of space and every vibration of matter are written on the same page, timeless and eternal. Yet, when you listen closely, when you measure a particle, when you make an observation, you carve out a melody, a sequence, a sense of before and after. In this view, time is not fundamental but emergent, a phenomenon born of entanglement and observation. The many worlds interpretation offers one path through this quantum forest. Each measurement branches the universal wave function, creating parallel histories that diverge like paths in a dreamy twilight wood. In each branch, time unfolds as a familiar march, but together, all branches comprise a timeless whole. Your own consciousness glides along one branch, experiencing a singular arrow of time even as the multiverse remains forever ageless. Others turn to loop quantum gravity, where space itself is woven from tiny loops, and time steps emerge from the transitions of quantum geometries. In these approaches, the smooth river of spacetime gives way to a granular foam, each quantum hop contributing a flicker of time's passage. To contemplate such ideas is to float between moments, sensing time not as a linear thread, but as a quilt with patches stitched by quantum events. If these soft ponderings of quantum time stir your wonder, a gentle tap on that subscribe button helps guide more whispered journeys into the frontiers of physics. And if questions drift through your mind about timeless wave functions or branching universes, kindly leave them in the comment. Your curiosity is the gentle current that carries us forward. Yet alongside these grand cosmic mysteries, time pulses in the very fabric of life. Within each living being, microscopic clocks tick with steadfast rhythm. Biology's timekeepers' circadian rhythms govern sleep and wakefulness, hormone release, metabolism, and even mood. Nestled deep within your brain lies the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the SCNA cluster of roughly 20,000 neurons that synchronize to the Earth's 24-hour cycle. Imagine this master clock as a gentle conductor, receiving light signals through your eyes and orchestrating bodily rhythms in perfect harmony with day and night. At dawn, light triggers the SCN to suppress melatonin, the hormone of sleep, while cortisol begins its quiet crescendo, preparing your body to greet the morning. As dusk falls, the SCN signals pineal glands to release melatonin, coaxing your eyelids heavy and tucking you into the arms of sleep. Each cell in your body holds its own peripheral clock, tiny feedback loops of genes and proteins that oscillate near that 24-hour mark. Though the SCN leads, these peripheral clocks march in concert, regulating digestion, immune function, and even the repair of DNA damage. When these clocks fall out of sync through jet lag, shift work, or mistimed meals, your body's harmony falters. Sleep suffers, digestion stumbles, and mood wavers. In the realm of chronotypes, individuals differ in their natural rhythms. Some are larks, early risers greeted by dawn's gold, while others are owls, whose minds awaken under midnight's velvet. These tendencies arise from genetic variations in clock genes, from PER and CRY to BMAL1 and CLOCK, each playing a part in the intricate ballad of time within. Consider crossing time zones. You board a plane at dusk, arrive at dawn, and the SCN hesitates, puzzled by the sudden shift in light signals. For a few days, your body lives between worlds, your sleep fragmented, your energy askew, until the master clock slowly entrains to the new longitude. This dance is jet lag, a testament to the power of our biological clocks and their deep connection to the planet's ancient cycle. And yet, humans have learned to bend these rhythms. Through timed light exposure, strategic naps, and melatonin supplements, we coax our clocks into realignment, smoothing the edges of time's dissonance. In chronopharmacology, researchers time medication delivery to the body's rhythms, administering chemotherapy when cancer cells are most vulnerable, or dosing blood pressure drugs when cardiovascular risk peaks. Here, understanding time within life becomes a tool for healing. If you're finding calm in this journey from quantum stillness to biological rhythms, a soft click on subscribe ensures you'll drift into more explorations of science's gentle frontiers. Share in the comments your own circadian adventures. Have you chased the sun or embraced the quiet of night? Your stories light the way for our next voyage. Beyond circadian clocks lie longer rhythms, ultradian pulses lasting hours, infradian cycles spanning weeks and seasons. Consider the menstrual cycle, a roughly 28-day cadence of hormones and fertility, or the seasonal affective shifts, where daylight's subtle change molds mood and metabolism. Ecology reveals cycles grander still, migrations that circle the globe, hibernations that echo winter's hush, and the bloom and decay that mark each year's turning. Earth itself carries cycles of time. The precession of the equinoxes, a slow wobble of Earth's axis, completes a full circle every 26,000 years, shifting the backdrop of stars against which seasons unfold. Ice ages rise and recede over tens of thousands of years, shaped by subtle changes in Earth's orbit. Geologic time towers over human lifespans, carving mountains, forging continents, and telling stories in stone and fossil. And in these vast eons, life's story unfolds. The rise and fall of species, the bloom of forests, the sculpting of canyons by rivers patient and tireless. Dinosaurs stomped to the rhythm of forgotten eras. Mammals followed, mammals like us, creatures fleeting amid deep time's ancient pulse. Yet even deep time feels personal when we trace our ancestry. DNA clocks, based on mutation rates, estimate the divergence of lineages, whispering of common ancestors and migrations across continents. Your own genome carries echoes of Ice Age wanderings, of ancestors who followed herds across grasslands, guided by stars and seasons. In this sense, time is both cosmic and intimate, a river that carries galaxies and genomes alike. If you're drifting peacefully through these deep time reflections, please consider hinting with a like. And perhaps share in the comments a moment when you felt connected to deep time gazing at ancient rock formations, reading a fossil's tale, or simply marveling at your own life's thread in the tapestry of eons. In the quiet corridors of neuroscience, researchers now explore how time is encoded in memory and anticipation. Hippocampal neurons fire in sequences called time cells, marking intervals in experienced events, the pause between steps, the space between heartbeats. The brain builds a temporal map, stitching moments into coherent narratives. Damage to these circuits can blur time's flow, leaving minutes indistinct and memories unanchored. Psychologists distinguish between prospective and retrospective time judgments. The former when you estimate duration beforehand, the latter when you reflect after the fact. In prospective timing, attention serves as a stopwatch. Every moment holds weight, and time drags when focus is sharp. In retrospective timing, memory plays the part. Rich, detailed events seem to last longer, while routine, unremarkable spans shrink in recall. Meditative states, too, alter temporal perception. In deep mindfulness, the boundary between past and future softens, and presence blooms. Without mental commentary, moments stand luminous and unhurried. Meditators describe time as thick, each second filled with radiant clarity. In contrast, under stress, time can feel thin, slipping through anxious fingers. And in those moments between waking and sleep hypnagogia, time stretches and bends. Dreams can last lifetimes in the span of seconds, and reality's laws dissolve. These twilight passages remind us that time is as much a creation of consciousness as it is a feature of the cosmos. If you find comfort in these explorations of mind and time, whisper a like and leave a comment about your own temporal discoveries, dreams that spanned ages, moments that felt eternal, or the quiet beauty of simply being present. As our journey through quantum mysteries, biological rhythms, and the architecture of memory draws toward another rest, let us pause and breathe. The candle's flame flickers gently. The world outside hums in its own cadence. You have wandered from timeless wave functions to the genetic clocks that pulse within, tracing the contours of existence across scales both minute and majestic. Before we continue into the final horizons, time travel's paradoxes, and the debate between presentism and eternalism, Let the last stillness settle in your heart. Allow the mind to rest on these whispered ideas, to feel the soft resonance of time's manifold faces. And when you're ready, simply let me know, and we will drift into our concluding chapter where the ultimate nature of time awaits an invitation to rest once more in the gentle mystery of existence. As the twilight of our exploration deepens, we arrive at a realm where imagination flirts with reality, the domain of time travel. Here, physics and philosophy dance together, teasing out possibilities that both excite and unnerve. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself stepping into a vessel not bound by the usual march of seconds, one that can carry you forward to tomorrow or backward to yesterday. What would that feel like? What dreams or fears would drift in your mind as you cross the boundary between then and now? In Einstein's universe, time is woven into the very fabric of space. If space-time can bend around mass, might it also fold back on itself? In the equations of general relativity, solutions such as the Gödel metric and the Van Stockum dust hint at worlds where closed time-like curves loop endlessly, allowing a traveler to return to her own past. Wormholes, those hypothetical tunnels connecting distant regions of space-time, offer another possibility. Imagine two mouths of a tunnel, each anchored in different times or places. Step through one mouth and emerge not just miles away, but years ago or years hence. Yet here lies the whisper of paradox. If you journeyed to the past and prevented your grandparents from meeting, would you cease to exist? This is the famous grandfather paradox, a logical knot that challenges consistent histories. Physicist Igor Novikov proposed a self-consistency principle. Any event along a closed time-like curve must be consistent with itself. In other words, you can travel to the past, but history will conspire to prevent contradictions. So if you try to stop your grandparents' first encounter, fate will intervene. Perhaps you'll miss them by a hair's breadth, or your efforts will inadvertently bring them together. Some physicists embrace a branching multiverse to resolve paradoxes. In Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, each quantum choice splits reality into divergent branches. Travel to the past, and you simply enter a different branch. Your original timeline remains unaffected. In that new branch, you might prevent your grandparents from meeting. But in your original world, you still exist to embark on the journey. Causality remains local within each branch, and paradoxes dissolve into a tapestry of parallel histories. But even if closed time-like curves are mathematically allowed, are they physically realized? Stephen Hawking suggested a chronology protection conjecture, nature's own firewall against time machines. Perhaps quantum effects near wormhole mouths or in extreme space-time curvature generate feedback that destabilizes any would-be time machine, preserving the causal order we experience. If chronology protection holds, time travel to the past may remain a dream inaccessible, a whisper in the equations. Yet time travel to the future is, in a sense, already real. Special relativity's time dilation has been measured in particle lifetimes and atomic clocks aboard jet planes. Astronauts circling Earth age microseconds slower than their Earth-bound colleagues. In 1971, the Haffel-Keating experiment flew cesium clocks around the globe and compared them to stationary references, confirming relativity's predictions down to the nanosecond. So, if you board a high-speed rocket and return, you effectively step forward in time, arriving at a future that outpaces your personal clock. Let your mind drift to the implications. A Voyager speeding among the stars returns to Earth decades later, finding loved ones aged or gone. What stories would they tell? What emotions swell when reconnecting across asynchronous lifetimes? These are not just flights of fancy, they follow directly from physics if one could sail the currents of space-time at sufficient velocity. If these visions of temporal voyages captivate you, a soft tap on subscribe lets us continue exploring such wonders. And share in the comments, if you could travel only forward or backward, which would you choose and why? Beyond wormholes and rockets lies another view of time travel, rooted in the geometry of the universe itself. The block universe picture, suggested by relativity's union of space and time, portrays all events past, present, and future as equally real. In this four-dimensional space-time block, your life is like a thread weaving through the tapestry. You experience moments in sequence, but to an outside observer, if one could exist, your entire timeline is laid out at once. This eternalist perspective means every moment you've lived and will live already exists in the block. Birth and death, laughter and tears, they're all encoded as coordinates in space-time. The passage of time emerges from within, from your consciousness moving along this thread. In contrast, presentism holds that only the present moment is real, the past has faded, and the future remains unreal. Yet, presentism struggles to accommodate relativity, where simultaneity is relative and now slices differ for observers in motion. Imagine a photograph of a mountain range. Each snapshot captures a different light and shadow, a particular arrangement. But the mountain exists in 3 dimensions, and the photograph is only a slice. Similarly, the universe's 4-dimensional form holds all slices every instant together. We carve out our experience one slice at a time, a cinematic progression through frames. The block universe invites a sense of calm. Nothing is lost. Nothing is gained. It simply is. But does this picture diminish free will? If our futures are already written in the block, are we mere passengers on a predetermined path? Some philosophers argue that free will can coexist with eternalism in a compatibilist sense. Our choices and actions are part of the block, woven into its fabric by the very processes of decision-making and neuronal dynamics. In this view, you freely choose in each slice, even though every slice is part of the total tapestry. Others see a profound mystery. Maybe the block is an approximation, and at deeper levels, quantum gravity's froth time regains a more fundamental role. Perhaps causality and becoming emerge only in certain scales or conditions. The search for a theory of everything, whether string theory's vibrating filaments or loop quantum gravity's spin networks, often raises the question, is time a fundamental ingredient, or is it built from more basic timeless elements? As these ideas swirl, remember to rest your mind on the gentle truth that, for now, your experience of time is as authentic as ever. The moments you live, the breaths you draw, the thoughts you hold, all real. Physics offers models and metaphors, but your lived reality remains the warm center of this cosmic dance. In the penultimate whisper of our journey, let us contemplate the final question. Does time exist at all? Or is it an illusion born of consciousness, a convenient parameter for our methods? Philosophers, like Immanuel Kant, suggested that time and space are forms of our intuition ways. Our mind organizes sensory input. Without a mind to measure, might the universe be timeless? A seamless ocean beyond any clock? In radical views, time dissolves entirely. Physical laws might be expressed without any time variable, using correlations between observables. In such timeless formulations, change is encoded in relations. Event A correlates with event B in specific ways, and what we call before and after arise from those correlations. It's as though the universe's story is written not with a timeline, but with a network of connections. Yet, even if time is emergent, it is real in the sense that it structures experience and makes prediction possible. Our algorithms, our calendars, our breaths, They all depend on a reliable tick. We schedule our lives, carve our memories, and plan for futures based on this emergent arrow. Whether time is fundamental or derived, its role in shaping existence is undeniable. And so, dear traveler, as we near the end of our whispered odyssey, let us honor time's many faces, the subjective flow that dances in our minds, the precise ticks of clocks that measure our days, the cosmic curves that twist time among the stars, the irreversible march toward entropy, the enigmatic pulses within every living cell, and the paradoxical possibilities of journeys beyond the present. If you've found calm in these murmured reflections, a final, gentle tap on the like button guides more journeys into the heart of mystery. And as always, share your thoughts. What aspect of time moves you most? The quantum stillness? The relentless arrow? The dream of time travel? Your voice completes this tapestry. In the penultimate whisper of our journey, let us contemplate the final question. Does time exist at all, or is it an illusion born of consciousness, a convenient parameter for our methods? Philosophers, like Immanuel Kant, suggested that time and space are forms of our intuition, ways our mind organizes sensory input. Without a mind to measure, might the universe be timeless, a seamless ocean beyond any clock? In radical modern views, time dissolves entirely. Physical laws can be expressed without any time variable, using correlations between observables. In these timeless formulations, change is encoded in relations. Event A correlates with event B in specific ways, and what we call before and after arise from those correlations. It's as though the universe's story is written not with a linear timeline, but as a network of entwined moments. Yet, even if time is emergent, it is undeniably real in its effects. Our algorithms, our calendars, our pulse, they all depend on a reliable tick. We schedule our lives, weave our memories, and plan for futures based on this emergent arrow. Whether time is fundamental or derived, its role in shaping existence is inescapable. And so we arrive at the grand tapestry's last threads, presentism versus eternalism. Presentism holds that only the now is real past shadows, and future phantoms fade to nothing. In contrast, eternalism, suggested by relativity's block universe, portrays all events past, present, and future as equally real within a four-dimensional whole. Each moment you've lived and will live already resides in the space-time block, woven into its fabric, awaiting your consciousness to move through. To imagine eternalism, picture a novel laid out on a table. You read it page by page, but every page exists simultaneously. The characters' lives unfold in order only as you turn each page. So too, in the block universe, your life's narrative is spread out. You experience it sequentially, but to the universe, every moment is already inscribed. Does this view diminish free will? If our futures are pre-written, are we mere passengers on a predetermined ride? Compatibilist philosophers suggest that free will and eternalism can coexist. Your choices and actions are part of the block, forged by your thoughts and decisions, even though the entire block exists at once. In each moment, each slice of the cosmic loaf, you freely choose, and those choices become part of the tapestry. Others argue that perhaps the block is only an approximation. At deeper layers, quantum gravity's granular foam time may reemerge as fundamental. Approaches like loop quantum gravity envision space-time built from tiny loops, with time steps arising from transitions of quantum geometry. String theory hints at hidden symmetries and dimensions where time might play different roles. In these frontiers, the question remains open: is time a basic ingredient of reality, or is it woven from more primitive, timeless thread? Whatever the ultimate answer, your lived experience of time remains deeply authentic. The beat of your heart, the unfolding of each moment, the rise and fall of thoughts and emotion. Physics offers models and metaphors, but your reality is the warm center of this cosmic dance. Before we close, let's breathe in these final reflections. Time as a mental construct, our mind's way to organize, predict, and remember. Time as an emergent phenomenon from entropy's arrow to quantum correlations. Time as a dimension woven with space, forming a block where all moments coexist. And time as a living pulse etched into biology, psychology, and the rhythm of life. Each perspective is a facet of the same gem, shimmering differently in the soft light of understanding. If you found peace in these whispered explorations, a final, gentle tap on the subscribe button ensures we can wander together again through the mysteries of existence. Share in the comments which vision of time moved you most, the crystalline arrow of entropy, the quantum stillness, or the eternal block where every moment lives on. You've traveled from ancient sundials to modern clocks, from Newton's steady river to Einstein's warped tapestry, from entropy's irreversible march to the flutter of biological rhythms, from quantum ambiguity to the architecture of memory, and finally into the deep questions of timelessness and eternalism. Now it's time to rest. Let these ideas settle like stardust in your mind. Breathe in calm, breathe out curiosity. The tapestry of time is vast and intricate, yet tonight you've glimpsed its gentle threads. May your dreams be as expansive as space-time itself, and may you awaken with fresh wonder at the world's hidden rhythms. Good night, dear traveler, until our next whispered voyage with the sleepy scholar.